What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another video not on the Mako but about the Mako. Now, if you guys have been around the channel very long at all, you will know that when I first bought the Mako, I was doing lots of review videos back then because this was not really a new boat, but it was a very updated version of the Mako Pro Skiff 17 when I drove this bad boy off the lot. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, the day I brought this boat home, I thought I had the greatest boat in the world for me and for my specific needs. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about if I still feel like the Mako is the best boat for me, or have we outgrown it? It's an honest question, and it's a question every boat owner has to ask themselves at some point. Have I outgrown the current boat that I'm sitting in? And today, we're gonna talk about just that. Let's go. In today's video, we're going to be talking about rod holders. We're going to be talking about fuel tanks. We're going to be talking about storage. We're going to be talking about accessories that we've added to the Mako, and we're going to talk about some can't miss items that I feel like you absolutely have to have if you're rolling out in the Mako Pro Skiff 17. So we're going to hook up to the Mako, we're going to pull it out, and I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the accessories that I feel like we've outgrown on the Mako, and talk to you guys about what we're going to do to remedy that. One of the first things we're going to do today is hook up to the Mako and pull it out so we can get a nice cleanup on it and have full access to it. Where I store it here at the house makes it a little bit difficult to get on and off of.
Out in stormy weather, I might have the blues, but nothing ever stopped me from dusting off my shoes. You might think you'll see me.
One of the first things I want to talk about on the Mako, and one of the things I feel like that we have outgrown about it, and I mentioned some of the accessories, and one of the first things that comes to mind when I think about outgrowing this boat is the rod holder situation. I realized that when it's just me on the boat, these 5 rod holders do just fine. When I get other people on the boat, it does become a little bit of an issue, not necessarily because we don't have enough, but it's because of where they're located. Now, this is no knock on the boat. This is just by nature where these are located. They are located all around the center console. Well, what I've noticed is once you get like 2 or 3 people on the boat and you're trying to make your way around the center console, those hooks can kind of get into you, just kind of in the way. So we end up trying to put those in other places. Now, as you guys know, I did put an inset rod holder back on the back of the boat, and I also put a Scotty mount rod holder back here, which I'll show you guys right now. But I did take this Scotty rod holder mount off, mainly because when I bought it, I thought I had purchased stainless steel bolts, but I did not. And this was somewhat of a trip hazard. This whole back deck is made for casting. And when I got up here to cast, I was having an issue where if I didn't really pay attention, your line gets caught on this thing, you might trip over it, and it was just dangerous, to be quite honest with you. So I did take this off, and this is one of the things we're going to be addressing today. Now, on the other side, I did put this nice angled inset rod holder right there, and then of course we have the 4 rod holders on this side as well, and we're going to be addressing all of these right now. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing in today's video is installing a couple rod holders up here on this front. Now, I've done a lot of research on this because I was really worried about drilling down into this, but I have figured out that if you put a little bit of silicone around it, and even the rod holders themselves dump straight into the bottom hole of the boat, which has the bilge pump and everything, so it's not really a huge issue to put those rod holders right here. So we're going to be putting 2 rod holders on this front end of this boat. One of them is going to be straight up and down, and one of them is going to be angled off the corner of the boat. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would you want to put rod holders up here? Well, the one thing that I feel like we've outgrown about this boat is when we're doing fishing like at 3 Mile Bridge, or basically set rig fishing anywhere, which we do from the Mako some, there's no place on the front of this boat to stick your rod holder while you're waiting. So inevitably what happens is we put one over there in the black rod holder, we put one in the back, but depending on the current, if the boat is facing the opposite direction of where we need to put our baits out, we have no options to put baits off the front of the boat, so they end up going in the center console. The issue with that is those are plastic. So you guys have seen in a previous video, I don't know where it's at, I don't even know if I can find the footage. If I can, I'll try to drop it. But we were actually fishing, Brant and I, out at 3 Mile Bridge, and one of these rod holders had a big rod in it hooked up on a big bull red, and it actually broke that plastic rod holder.
All right. Oh, he's on. Oh my God, did that just break?
It broke the rod holder.
It did? What are you doing? the fish is off. That fish just broke the rod holder.
Straight up broke.
I don't know what like that. I cannot.
Had we
The
not
boat
grabbed
rod
that
holder.
rod?
Let's look. Where did it break it at? Look at that, guys.
Yeah, it broke.
The rod holder literally broke on that fish right there.
One of the first things I would suggest to you guys, if you do buy yourself a Mako Pro Skiff 17, is to go ahead and just replace these rod holders with metal ones. It's not that much of a cost, and it's really easy to do. The holes are already there. All you have to do is take those screws out, put you a new metal rod holder in there, replace your screws, and you're good to go. And I will tell you, it makes all the difference in the world. I've actually got one metal one over on the other side that I use religiously if we're fishing for bigger fish out, because I know that metal rod holder is going to hold up and it's not going to break. One of the things that you have to think about when you're considering whether or not you have outgrown your boat is storage. Do you still have enough storage to do the things that you need to do on your boat on a daily basis? And for us, surprisingly, we have not outgrown our storage. Now, I know the Mako Pro Skiff 17 is very limited on the storage capacity that it has, but I think one of the important things is to utilize that storage to the best of your ability. Now, as you guys know, and we've talked about before, the front bait well on this boat has never ever worked properly. So what I've done is completely plugged this off, and I actually use this as storage. Now, I will tell you guys, this is not dry storage. This is not something that you're going to want to throw something that you don't want to get wet in there, because it will get wet. It does take on water still, even with all the plugs. You do have your cooler seat that if you're not having ice in it, you can use that as dry storage. This thing right here has kind of been a game changer. This is dry storage, and this is where I keep all that stuff that just kind of lays around your boat. Inevitably, everybody knows you always have stuff that just kind of junks up your boat and lies around everywhere anytime you're out there fishing. And this Plano box has really changed things for me. And it's dual wielded. I actually put a couple rod holders on each side of it, and we actually use that when we take the electric e-bikes out fishing. And take that 6-gallon fuel tank off, because we did replace it with a 12-gallon over there. Now, what that's done is really allowed me to open up the storage space underneath of this deck over here. I put tackle boxes under there, I put my Plano box under there, and by doing that, it clears up a ton of deck room that you can walk around in all around the Mako, which in turn gives you more fishing space. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And yes, I'm fully aware that the boat is dirty. I don't need y'all to point that out to me. We are going to get it cleaned up actually today. That's part of our thing that we're doing today. Today's all about the Mako and addressing all the stuff. Another issue I was having, to be honest with you guys, is very limited dashboard space. By the time you get your fish finder on here, you really just don't have a ton of space to put phones, water bottles, things like that. We added the cup holder over there. That is for drinks. And then this right here, guys, was a game changer. I went fishing with Rusty Ferris from Rusty Reels down in Tampa, and he actually had one of these, and this is a phone holder. Now, it took me a little while to find where this thing came from, because I looked and then all of a sudden it dawned on me, this crossbar right here is the same size as the crossbar on a motorcycle. So I got to looking, pulled up motorcycle phone mounts, and boom, immediately there it was. That was the exact phone mount that he had on his boat, and it works out perfectly to store your phone up there. Now, obviously, if you're having weather or something like that, you can't put it there. And that takes us to the front hatch. We haven't even talked about where the most storage on this boat's at, and it is in this front hatch. Now, as you guys can see, by putting the tackle boxes back there under that storage area, it frees up a lot more room up here. Now, again, this is not dry storage, and you do lose some storage up here when you add your 2 trolling motor batteries and your charger for your trolling motor if you choose to put one of those on your boat. But as you guys can see, I think I've got 5 life jackets in there right now, plus my flotation device, plus 2 fenders, and we still have plenty of room for backpacks, other tackle bags if they need to be put in there, dry bags. I definitely suggest, if it's something you just absolutely do not want to get wet, that you do put it in a dry bag before you put it in there, because if you do take a bunch of water over the nose of your Mako, then you are 100% going to want to have something in there that's going to keep that dry, because there will be water that gets in there. You can just throw it right there, and it's a quick, easy fix. And then, of course, you have one more storage compartment right up here. Now, this is where I keep my cast nets and all that kind of stuff. So really the only thing I keep there, but you can keep a number of things in that storage hatch right there. If you guys are new to the channel, we have talked about the fuel tank situation, and this is going to be a 12-gallon low profile fuel tank that I did as an add-on to the Mako. And for the longest time, I left that 6-gallon over there, but I never even came close to running out on the 12-gallon, so we ended up taking that off the boat. And if you are new to the channel and you haven't seen some of the specs, this is a 17-foot vessel. It's just over 17 foot. I think it's like 17.3, something like that. And a lot of questions we had asked early on in the review process. How long is it from this trailer hitch ball all the way back here to your prop when you got it in storage? Now, if you've got your motor trimmed up like I do right here, you are looking at 23 feet 6 inches from that trailer ball to right here. So if your garage is not 23 foot 6 inches, you're not going to be able to park this boat in your garage and close the door. And another thing you have to think about is clearance. Now, I don't park mine in the garage, I keep mine in the driveway, but this crossbar does stick up. So obviously, I mean, I can't imagine you have anything that low, but if you were to have something as low as that crossbar as your garage door, you would need to address that before you try to pull it in there as well. Now, because the Mako Pro Skiff 17 is designed for 2 people, basically, you really only have 2 seating options. You have this one right here, and then you have your cooler seat. But what we've done to take care of that is we just pull a couple life jackets out of the front, put one on this side and one on that side, and it's gonna give you a nice, comfortable ride. Now, you don't wanna go ripping through rough water when it's like that, because these people are gonna get bounced around all over the place. And we have, if it's super, super choppy out there, I usually stand up and drive, and we'll put one person with their feet off on either side of the cooler. So there's always a nice, comfortable way to get at least 4 people on the boat, and sometimes 5 if you're just out cruising around and not trying to fish or do anything like that. Now, after 2.5 years of near daily use, the Mercury 75 horsepower motor on the Mako Pro Skiff 17 has held up beautifully. I've not had any issues with the motor whatsoever. Now, I will tell you guys, I do my service religiously on this thing. When it hits that 100 hour, I take it in, I get it serviced, they change the oil, they change the nodes that they need to be changed. So that's going to be super important. A lot of people told me early on, they're like, you did not need to buy a stainless steel prop. You can get by, and now that's probably true, but I'm going to tell y'all right now, this stainless steel Spitfire 4-blade prop has been awesome. We have tangled line up in it, we've tangled a whole fishing pole up in it, and nothing has really phased this thing. We've always been able to pop it off, clean it out, and we are back on the water in no time, and no rust whatsoever. And when you're in as much salt water as we are, that is a huge important piece for your boat. And while we're kind of walking around the boat, I'll give you guys an update on the Minn Kota Power Drive. This is a new one that they replaced the old one with, and I've not had any issues with it whatsoever. I really think that other one just was not properly sealed. I did go ahead and upgrade the plug on this trolling motor, because when they put it on here, it was a much smaller one than this and just not as stout and sturdy. So I did upgrade that just to give it a little bit of more of a heavy duty plug, so you're not going to have as many issues with the voltage and things like that. All right, so I just got off the phone with Scott's Marine because I did want to check with them, and they did tell me that we can put some rod holders right here with stipulations. So we are going to go grab those rod holders real quick, come back, drill some holes, and upgrade the Mako just a little bit. All right, guys, so we need one of these, which is the angled one, and then we're gonna need one of these, which is these straight up and down. Now, I would prefer to have that in stainless steel, but they don't have it in stainless steel, so we are gonna go with the plastic one. All right, y'all, so what you're gonna need to put these rod holders in, you're gonna need a power drill, obviously, 2-inch hole saw, a 5/32 drill bit, and then some number 10, but I like to use 2-inch screws. Make sure they are stainless steel. If they're not stainless steel, you'll get those rust patches like you were getting back there. But now we're gonna mark our spots and we're gonna get to drilling. All right, guys, so we do have our spots marked off here. So first thing we're gonna do is just kind of take this one. Now, I was worried about this one being plastic and not being stainless steel, but then I got to thinking about it. This one is going to be more for sitting a rod just straight up and down, like if you want to get it out of your hands for just a minute. So probably won't be doing a lot of set rig fishing with this, like out at 3 Mile Bridge. So not too overly concerned about it. Now, this should just slide right down in there, which it does. And what you're going to do at this point, now I did buy rod holders, just so y'all know, with covers, because one of my concerns was, and I called Scott's Marine to make sure that this was okay, if water comes up over the boat, this is going to dump water directly down into the hull. So what I'm going to do is put a bead of silicone around this, and then I've got these rod holders with covers, and it's not going to completely eliminate the water, but it's not going to allow enough to get in there that's going to hurt anything. So all we have to do now is change this out to our 5/32 drill bit and drill some screw holes, and then we are going to be ready to rock and roll here. And again, guys, I cannot stress how important it is that you use stainless steel screws for this. I like to go ahead and set all 3 of them in before I tighten them down, just to make sure it doesn't shift on me or anything like that. But with pre-drilled holes, shouldn't be that big of a deal at all. Guys, that is one secure rod holder right there. Y'all check it out. Do y'all know how nice it's gonna be to come up and just drop a rod down right there and not have to like take it back to the back? And this is like a multitude of things. So if you've got to retie a hook or something like that, you don't have to go back down there and fight. You can stick it in your rod holder right here, and you got all this stand-up room to work with, and that is going to be super nice. But that was the easy one. Now we're going to put the trickier one in. And if you're wondering what the inside of your boat looks like, that's it right there. Now, because you do have to have this at an angle, what I typically do is because it doesn't change the size of the hole, you just need it in there at an angle for the angled rod holder. So instead of trying to like figure all that out, I just drill a hole straight up and down, just like I did right there. Then I come back and I figure kind of what angle that's at. Then this should slide in there just like so, which it did. And guys, there is rod holder numero dos. Now this is going to be our set rig rod. This is that stainless steel one. Fits in there just like that. Big fish gets on, it ain't going nowhere. And that's how we put rod holders on the boat. Let's check that out right there. 2 inset rod holders right up here on the front. I am so stoked about that, with caps to help keep water flow from going down to the inside of the hull of the boat. Man, I am so happy to have those on there, I'm not gonna lie. And guys, that's gonna wrap it up with the Mako. It's been a while since we've shot a Mako like review video, but it was time. We've had the boat about 2.5 years. And I know there were some questions about whether we were moving on from Mako, looking at other options, and we did. Last fall, winter, we had a couple of boat companies approach us about maybe doing some deals with them. Just really never worked out. But the big thing is, you know, this is my boat. I own this boat, and I've been happy with it. I mean, does it have its quirks? 100% it does, but I don't feel like I'm going to be able to go out and find the perfect boat unless you get up into like the way more expensive boats than what our budget is. So for a budget-friendly boat, this thing offers every single thing I need. So did we outgrow the Mako Pro Skiff 17? I can resoundingly say no, we did not. We outgrew some of the stock accessories on the Mako Pro Skiff 17, but I think it's easy fix. And I really feel like adding these inset rod holders is a great start to the upgrades we need to make to this boat to make it fit us just a little bit better. We've done a ton of research to try to add things, move things around on this boat to really help us out, and it has worked wonders. It has made it much more comfortable by just adding a few little things here and there. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to make videos with the Mako, at least for the foreseeable future. But man, I'm excited. Like, I want to take the boat out just to try these rod holders out right now. You guys have no idea. Guys, as always, I truly appreciate you for tuning into this video. We cannot thank you guys enough for all your love and support. I have gotten a couple emails, messages on Facebook, Instagram, all that the last few days, wanting to know if we're still doing the youth photos and videos at the end of our videos. And yes, we are. We just haven't had a lot of them, and I've been on the road, so it's been really, really tough to do that. But we are kind of getting back settled into a somewhat normal schedule, normal for us anyways. So make sure you're sending in your youth photos, videos. We want to add those to our videos. They're definitely still going to be there. We love having them in there. So send them our way. I got the email to send those to in the description box below, so you guys send those over to us. Guys, as always, we appreciate you watching. If you liked the video, give it a great big thumbs up. If you're new here to the Cameraman Ron channel, make sure you got your notification bell turned on. We're trying to make a big push to 20,000 subscribers right now. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you smash that subscribe button. We can't wait to see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care, and we'll see you soon.